So this is welcome in. This is the podcast recorded right after Valentine's Day. So if you're feeling a little sore this morning, maybe from behind, congratulations.
Jesus.
You probably got a really good gift. So I just want to say that happy Valentine's Day, post Valentine's Day to everybody. But also, it's kind of all I have. I ran out of steam. But what we want to talk about today is a bunch of things that keep happening with the TRUMP administration. But we also wanted to kind of have a callback to something that we talked about on the last podcast. That is, if you wanted to be the change or see change, that, reach out to your representatives and call. And, there was that nice app, about current issues that are happening and then, who to call, when to call and whatnot. And I believe that at the time, that was it still is the correct thing to do, but our Democrats are getting a little overwhelmed, I want to say, by the amount of volume of calls that they're receiving. Is that correct, Zach? To say that?
Yeah, I read an article, a couple of articles. I think the one I found was from Reuters. I don't remember for sure. I read a lot yesterday. I think it was from Reuters, but there's been a bunch of articles going around where Democratic offices are getting absolutely demolished with phone calls to, do something, I guess, is the greater umbrella, is just to do something about the Trump administration. I'm sure people are calling on tons of different issues because these executive orders are just coming a mile a minute. People are reporting that they're just getting legitimately like thousands of phone calls a minute into these Democratic representatives' offices, which I do want to say, if you are someone who's been calling or if you're someone who's been doing whatever, keep fucking calling them. Call them even harder. You can essentially bully these people into doing something, and these efforts are going to work if we keep the pressure on. There are some other options as well. If you're not getting directed into your representative's office, if you're making phone calls and it's ringing, whatever, I think you can leave voicemails, email them. That's fine too. Another option that was kind of brought to my attention as well, aside from that, is, you can email or call the attorney general's office as well, right? It doesn't just have to be representatives. It could be attorneys general, as it were. It is 9 a.m. here, folks, as we're doing this. So we're all trying to like get hopped up on the caffeine here. But anyway, you can get a hold of, any sort of bureaucrats in your area, right, that are in charge of things. You can get a hold of, if you know of a hospital that is implementing, there's hospitals that are stopping treatments for trans people, gender affirming care. You can put pressure on the hospitals, right? You can start calling doctors and start calling hospitals and things like that as well. So keep the pressure on your representatives, but it's been obviously very, very good. But just remember also, if those efforts are getting thwarted, you can put pressure other places too that will enforce change. And in a lot of cases, a lot of these people that aren't, in government directly, or a lot of these people that are maybe smaller time, they're going to buckle under the pressure a lot faster than maybe calling your state senator would be. So there's those options too. But the efforts have apparently been fucking awesome. So it's great news.
And I would just add to that, if your representative is Republican, I've heard it's a lot more effective to focus on issues that they're concerned with, because if you tell them the social issues that us Democrats have problems with, they're just going to kind of not take you as seriously. So you need to hit them where it hurts. They're concerned about the economy, and they're concerned about Elon taking their job. So really hit them hard with those 2 points if they're a Republican representative. Say that you're concerned about the economy, you're worried about inflation going back up, and you're worried about Elon taking their power, the Congress's power, because that'll really fucking light a fire under the Republicans' asses too, to maybe reconsider just being playing along with all this.
Make them grow a pair, man. We even saw too, like, I think it's possible because we saw Mitch McConnell vote with the Democrats against RFK Jr.'s taking the head of Health and Human Services. Makes a lot of sense. Mitch McConnell being a survivor of fucking polio, where RFK directly has said the polio vaccine is bullshit and he wants to get rid of it. So welcome back, polio.
Yeah.
God, can we get a round of applause for that one? Welcome back, the Iron Lung, huh? Fucking
Comeback Player of the Year.
No shit. Yeah, comeback player of the year. Fucking Alex Smith, who? No, I think that's a really good point though, Rick. Like, kind of talking to him about, hey, listen, like, we got this unelected dude that's just fucking running rampant through the government, and he's not representing us, and that's a concern. If you live in Alabama, there's some shit going on in Alabama where people's, are just directly getting hit on their energy costs, so there's things like that where you can just say, hey, like Donald Trump's executive orders are directly hitting my pocketbook negatively, and that might
Yep.
be a thing that, will start to turn the tide. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, and speaking of Elon and calling to say that he's taking the Congress power and taking the jobs, he's also infiltrating the White House and things like that, and bringing his kid in there, and kind of establishing a look that is a little daunting, I guess. Just from a picture point of view, but yeah. So Elon made his I don't know if it's his first appearance in the Oval Office, but he certainly took a lot of airtime within the Oval Office this week, and talked a lot about what Doge is doing, and he took questions from the press, and somebody did a word count. And this is something that doesn't really matter, but he said more words. Did I say those words? He said a lot of words. He said more words than Donald Trump did in a meeting, and apparently that's the first time ever that in a press conference that Donald Trump's been involved in an administration, that he has said fewer words than the person, other people involved. So yeah, so Elon was there. He brought his little kid there, wiping the boogers all over the Resolute desk, and just fucking tweaking out on kid ketamine. Yeah, that should be his nickname instead of all the vowels to foul. AEIOU. It should be Kid Ketamine. But
sounds like the worst superhero ever.
That's Elon's sidekick.
Dog shit. Dog shit villain. The fucking Justice League fucking comic book or something.
I keep seeing like comments like, "There's no way Elon wasn't made in a petri dish." Like just the way he's fucking, like, dude, he's just an odd looking man, and he still's got the refrigerator look. He tries to hide it with those big overcoats now. It's still there.
Oh,
Like, when he buttons, it drops off after his ribs.
That's where they got the modeling of the Cybertruck for.
Yeah, when he laid down.
That's where the shape came from. Yeah.
That's the grill.
God damn, dude. That's rough. That's got to be rough looking so fucking shitty and trying to be such a symbol of masculinity. God, like, what happened to all the dudes that I see on Instagram? They're telling me I need a six-pack to be a fucking real man. And then they call Elon a real man. He looks like a goddamn boulder. Fucking shit, man. God, someone integrate the area under the curve of his fucking gut for me, would you? Tell you what, do some calculus for that fucking bullshit. Yeah, so here's the thing. Speaking of manliness, I wasn't going to interject, but I'm going to interject now. Has anyone ever seen a president look just more like shitty and downtrodden than this? Like, so you have Elon Musk in like casual wear, by the way. Like, speaking of the big coat was the most formal thing he was wearing. Dude was flatly like jeans and a t-shirt and this big fucking coat, baseball hat, like his dark MAGA fucking bullshit ass hat that he wears now. Like the dude is just casually dressed. He's got his shitty little kid running around, like you said, like legitimately, like we're not exaggerating when we say wiping boogers on the Resolute desk. Like he's fucking doing that for real. So what an image that is, for fuck's sake. And then you have Donald Trump sitting in his little chair, hunched over, his face just drooping, because the fucking dude, man, I tell you what, go back and look at 2016 pictures of Donald Trump, and if you can stand it, listen to 2016 Trump speak, and listen to 2025 Donald Trump speak, and he is cooked, man. Like, his age is definitely showing. He's not the same. He doesn't have the same level of energy. He doesn't have the same, I don't want to say he ever had a youthful appearance. He's always kind of looked like shit. But man, he looks every fucking minute of his 78 years now.
Yeah, he looks like he's on a low sodium diet now, and before he was just pumped with salt, and it just kept his skin tight in his face. I think that's what happened.
That is a disgusting image.
He's down to 6 Diet Cokes a day now.
That's tough. Fuck, only 6. God damn, that's rookie numbers. But no, dude. The Resolute desk, like, it's just an administrative cuck chair now. Like, it's just an executive fucking cuck chair. That's what it is. That's what it looks like.
Well, and that is what it is, because Trump got what he wanted out of this election. He won. He got he doesn't have to worry about going to fucking prison anymore. He's done. He doesn't give a fuck. And Elon got him elected. So he's like, here, I owe you now. which is great to have a president indebted to somebody, and it's so painfully obvious that that's what's fucking happening. And so he just hands the reins and lets Elon do whatever the fuck he wants. No reins, no fucking checks, no balances, no nothing, because he's not actually the fucking sitting president. The president is just an inept fucking old moron who can't fucking understand what the hell's going on around him. And so Trump got what he wanted, and he's just shut down. And his level of give a fuck just was never, like, it wasn't there to begin with, but like, it's especially not there now.
Yeah. I think he's become a pen. Like I think we would have all spoken if this was 2016 if we had started this podcast all that time ago, we probably would have been talking about how Trump is a useful idiot. I think we've all probably said that to some degree during his first term. He's a pen now. He's just a pen to write these executive orders. I truly believe that Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about being in office in terms of fixing the country or fixing it. I use that term loosely, but in terms of doing anything for the country or implementing any ideas that he has. I think he legitimately just wanted to stay out of prison. So now people just write executive orders for him, hands them over to him, and then he signs them just trusting that it's shit. I mean, of course, if you ask Donald Trump about trans people, I'm certain he fucking hates them. I'm certain he fucking, all this shit that they're doing, I bet he would love it if you asked him about it. But I just think he doesn't give a shit anymore. Like you said, he stayed out of prison. That's what he wanted. Elon paid like 200 some odd $1 million to run all these fucking ads, and of course X, flooded with all this right wing bullshit and all that. So yeah, I mean, Trump is transactional in nature, So that was the transaction here, and now he's just a pen. He just doesn't want to be in jail. That's
right.
It. Period.
Well, and it can't be any more obvious than when they're handing him executive orders and they're explaining them to him. And this is like the first time he's fucking seen them. Yeah. And there's just a pile of them on his desk, and they're opening like, this is what this is for, and this is what's going to happen. He's like, oh, that's something, isn't it? And then he fucking signs it. And it's like, dude, you didn't have any input in those executive orders, and you have no idea what the fuck they are. They printed them out, and this is the first fucking time you're even hearing about what the fuck is happening with them.
And that's that was a perfect impression of what happens. Like, okay, and they say like back when Biden was doing shit, how senile and stuff that he was, and he was incapable of being president. But like you said, they're handing him like, okay, Grandpa, here's what this one's about, and he's like, oh, that's a big one. This is huge. This is going to be a famous pen. It's like, dude, you're not fucking John Lennon and the Beatles, all right? Nobody gives a fuck about that stupid Sharpie you're signing this with and how long it takes you to sign your name. God damn. Yeah, give this one to RFK. Why? So he can fucking cough a loogie on it and fucking finally talk normal again? All right, back to you, Zach.
Ask not what the worm can do for you. Ask what you can do for the worm. Yeah, dude, we're gonna talk plenty about RFK. Like, maybe not in this episode, but we're gonna talk plenty about it because that motherfucker, he's a man after my heart in the worst possible way, in the sense that, like, I just want to rip his out of his chest because all of his HHA stuff is gonna fucking just actually kill people. There's already measles. We eliminated measles in like fucking forever ago in this country. There were 0 cases of measles like fucking forever ago, and now there's like a shitload of cases in Texas. Like,
fuck yeah,
freedom. Which, for reference,
measles are freedom bumps.
Dude, it's incredibly infectious. It can leave you permanently scarred, if not dead. And this dumb shit's like, well, we don't know what's in the vaccines. Like, bro, we know what's in there. It's shit that doesn't give you measles, you fucking inbred. Anyway, god damn it.
When he talks, it sounds like he's in one of those fucking guitar modulators that have like a vibrato on them.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Someone just shoved a fucking like Boss effects pedal up his ass. And, like, that's just how he sounds now. He just fucking, oh my, like, they used him to make the Axe effects. Yeah. Fucking, the entire thing is just, he's got an Axe effects 1, the OG, just fucking entirely up his rectum. I hope it hurts. I hope it fucking hurts when he talks. This guy's gonna kill so many fucking people. I don't even know what I was gonna fucking say at this point. Anyway, fuck RFK. If you like RFK, fuck you.
Yeah.
Can't stand that shit.
Yeah, and I think, just bringing it back to what you were talking about, just Elon and talking about his fucking, like, Doc Maga, and he just sounds like a fucking douche. But no, they're talking about like him being in the Oval Office and just basically the symbolism that is like him standing over Trump, the cuck chair, and the fucking his kid running around, the non like professionalism that is him just throwing an overcoat on his t-shirt and jeans and all that kind of bullshit that goes along with that and what he was talking about. So yeah, so that's kind of where we were.
Yeah, God, yeah. Dude, I think my ADHD has gotten worse, I think, from this administration. Like I was online enough and on social media a lot, like regularly, like probably way too much, but now I'm on stuff so much and like I swear to God, every article I scroll by is like so vastly different. Like this shit has no one train of thought. My brain is getting bad from it. But no, one thing we haven't brought up yet, in addition to writing boogers or wiping boogers on the Resolute desk, fucking writing in
Wait,
boogers,
Trump or
probably
the kid?
trying to learn how to spell his name, fucking SR-71 Blackbird, fucking whatever stealth bomber there. The kid, there's a couple of clips, and you can argue these clips a little bit, but not a lot. There's one clip where uh I think Trump prompts Elon to answer a question, which by the way, dude, you're the fucking president. You take you're supposed to be you're the one getting photoshopped as pictures of fucking Rambo. I know one of my dad's buddies on Facebook, the one that I said had a fucking brain that of an undercooked lasagna, that fucking guy's actual Facebook profile picture is this AI generated image where like they basically put Trump's face on George Washington's body,
Oh
like in
my
a
God.
crossing the Delaware type of image. And then there's another weird one where it's AI generated. He's like cuddling a fucking raccoon. Like this guy wants Trump to nut down his throat, which is why I had no issue just insulting him is what I did. I have no kindness for people like that. But but this guy, this fucking tough guy, asks Elon to answer a question for him because he doesn't want to be president in this moment. And Elon's fucking child, who doesn't even have a like legitimate fucking name and is what, like 4 years old at this point. Arguably, you could probably argue he doesn't say this, but it sure as shit looks like it. Looks at Donald Trump right in the face and says, I want you to go away. You're not the president. Then there's another moment where he's sitting on Elon's shoulders, again, being a fucking meat shield for the back of his head. And he looks down at Trump and says, I want you to shush. I want you to shut your mouth. So you have Elon taking all the questions and Elon's child, who has definitely just heard this shit in private in his dad's conversation with other people, directly telling the president to shut up. Like,
Yeah.
fuck. What are we
Yeah.
doing? What are we doing? Like, what is
That's
this?
a real symbol of strength, guys.
Dude, Jesus fuck. Here's the thing, man. If a kid
Punched
tells
over
me
in
to
a
shut
fucking
up,
chair.
if I had a child and my child looked at the president in the face and told the president to shut up, I would politely correct him and then fucking scream at him later on. Like it would be like, you fucking, of all the people on the planet that you can tell to shush, it's the most powerful man in the country, potentially the world. Like, what is fucking wrong with you? That kid would be banned from everything he loves for months. Like, no more dinosaurs, no more video games, no more trains, no, like, whatever the fuck you're into. You're not doing any of that anymore. Like, you're scrubbing floors with your toothbrush for 2 months. Fucking Cinderella, get ready. Like, bro, not okay.
Yeah, I think, dude, for one thing, that kid is going to see no change, and Elon's probably going to fucking just like be like, "Good job, you did exactly what you needed to do," and then the kid's going to be like, "Great, I can put this act away now. I can then go back to reading my fucking books and being a super genius." Like he could talk normal, I bet. But just the circus that was that press conference, and then the press conferences to follow too, like Trump kicking the Associated Press out for that. Referring to the Gulf of America to the Gulf of Mexico, even though like they can't because of their guidelines, right, or something like that. That's censorship at its finest, right? But just going back to this real quick, like Elon answering those questions was such a sandbaggy way of explaining things. Like asking about Doge, the press was, and then asking about like, are you policing yourself when you're going through all these records? And, is there a conflict of interest when it comes to, your business, Tesla and SpaceX and all this? And then he just goes into this long soliloquy about, when people get checks and we see the checks are delivered and then like, we send the checks out. It made no fucking sense to what the question was. And in like I've been there before. again, like I said to you guys before the show, like when you're just trying to make the essay work as far as word count goes, that's what he did. And he didn't answer the question. And then the reporter asked, "So are you policing yourself?" a second time, and he just goes, "Yeah, yeah."
He
Sure.
does the whole. Well, you'd have to talk to people. Jesus fucking Christ, Rick. you, have to, you have to talk to the people at SpaceX. I'm not in charge of those. Blah blah blah. And it's like, no, bro. Like you aren't in charge necessarily of making the deals, but you're making the money from the deals.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's the thing is like, I don't think. I mean, as an unelected official, like he's not required. Like most people, there's at least a norm of them. Like showing, like we dealt with Trump in his first term, he would not show his tax returns. He just never did. And that is a norm, right? I mean, I think it was Jimmy Carter had to completely divest from a fucking peanut farm because that was
Yeah.
considered a conflict of interest potentially, right?
Yeah.
But then we have Elon signing million or billion-dollar contracts. And he's just saying, like, no, you got to check with them. Like that's on them. That's not on me. Whatever. It's like, dude, it is on you. It's fucking your company.
Yeah. And like, so to that point, and then also like he goes, "Well, and if you do see something weird, and if you guys have an issue with this, then say something." Everyone's saying something, Elon. Everyone forever will always say something about this, and you're just choosing not to listen. You're choosing not to
Mhm.
listen. And I guess the right people aren't saying anything. And I mean that in both the correct people aren't saying things and also the people on the right, because that's the only people you're listening to. And everybody on the right thinks you're fucking, fucking robot Jesus or whatever the fuck you look like today. So you and your fake hair can go fuck yourself. All right, brother.
Dude, this guy could staple fucking frogs to his eyelids and they'd be like, fuck, this is such a genius move. Like, he's got something up his sleeve. It's like, no, he's just dumb and stapled frogs to his eyelids. Like, shut the. Like, and so here's the thing, too. So he's running around. I'm starting to stutter like him because I'm getting so fucking worked up, dude. Uh, also, his stutter is the most annoying stutter, by the way. Like, let's fucking get to the point, Elon. But he says that, oh, we're going to find fraud. We're trying to look through and we're combing through the government. We're trying to find fraud. Now, look, I will say, and I think just about anyone would say that if someone wanted to legitimately go through the government and find government waste and find like poor spending and fraud and any of that, look, if there was like an effective way to do that, fantastic. Like if like I know that there's government contracts and the way government contracts work out, we might spend $90,000 on a bag of fucking ball bearings for a jet engine, right? Or some stupid shit like that.
Yep.
And I mean, shit, I've heard for years from my dad that like we're buying, $1 million toilets and shit just because of the way contracts work out. Sure, if we can change the way that the government does business with contractors, or if we can change the way they do things, make things more efficient, fan fucking tastic. That's great. Like, right, we get more value for our taxes. All that shit's fantastic. But the way to find fraud isn't to walk in the front door of the treasury, save everyone's data to a hard drive, give it to a bunch of 24-year-old Stanford grads, and then have those Stanford grads also go and interview individual employees and say, Eric, have you seen Office Space? Have either of you seen Office Space?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like where they sit down at the desk and they literally go just, so what is it you say you do here? They're just doing that, right? So when
They called in the
I
Bobs.
want to find, yeah, dude, like when I want to find fraud, you don't just shut everything down because people rely on these services, right?
Right.
Like people rely on it, chunks of government rely on it. I mean, when there was the big federal like spending freeze for things like there could have been potential people. Well, still, I've seen that apparently like the Medicare Medicaid site is not back up, or like that portal isn't back up yet. I don't know if that's true for sure, but like that could be terrifying. Someone, I don't know, someone check on that. Actually, I don't even know what we're looking for there. But I've heard that there's still damage being done. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But regardless, the point is the damage is done in those moments. And that's not how you find fraud, right? If I want to find inefficiencies in my spending in my house, I don't just stop sending money to everything. I still got to make a house payment, right? I still
Right.
got to pay my bills. So you got to keep shit running while you're doing this. And again, if you want to find inefficiencies in employees and things like that, sure, maybe the government's a little bit overstaffed. right? Whatever. I'm willing to accept that some of these are facts, but if they are overstaffed, you gotta make those cuts while you're on the run here. Oh, Elon, actually, I'm sure you guys saw this. This is a fun thing. Did you see Elon's rant about how only 10,000 people can retire from the government because they like have to ship manila folders down a mine shaft?
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
cool and not true, probably.
There's no way that's true. There's no fucking way that's true because first of all, when there's mass layoffs and mass, like in the last couple of years, there's been mass resignations, and things like that. They were all handled. Sure, there might have been delays, but they're definitely handled. And seeing that on our side of things, just within the company that I work for, there's been more than the average amount. That's I don't know. There's no way that that's fucking possible. There's no way because if people weren't receiving their checks when they said that they needed them, because when people retire, at least this is just probably maybe just a standard for my case scenario, and if I misunderstood this, then we can just cut this all out. But basically, what happens is they say I'm retiring on this date, and I need my check on this date. And if the check doesn't come on this date, they don't get an income for the entire month because usually the people retiring, a lot of them have pensions, and that's all dependent on that, right? So when they don't get their pension check for a month, they get 2 pension checks in the second month. So what that means is they go without income for an entire month, and if a lot of people can't do that nowadays. So they need to process that as soon as they can. And if they're giving advance notice and they put in their retirement exactly when they need to, and they're meeting all the requirements, a lot of people do that, and a lot of people did that in the exact same month. And December and January are those months, are those key months because of the year turn and the end of the year, right? So those are those bulk months. And you're telling me that only 10,000 people in America can only retire on those days? That's bullshit. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's a heinous idea. Oh, so before I go to what I was saying, live fact check, the Medicare.gov portal is back up now. It was down for a while, but it looks like it is back up again. I live fact checked myself. But
Yeah.
the other thing is, so when they're talking about, or Elon goes into the thing about like how they're legitimately doing it all on like hard paperwork and like I think he says they're like putting it down. They have to have people that like carry it down a limestone like mine or something like that. That's not. Look, there's inefficiencies in government in terms of computer systems because I mean, first of all, there's a lot of legacy systems involved. Something else that we were going to talk about, is all the legacy bullshit. But and they're hard, they're big. These are complex systems to build, and of course, it all gets bureaucratically fucked up because everyone, when you write the requirements for these things, everyone needs to dip their fingers in it. We need to have, for my state, we need to have this requirement. For my state, we need to have this requirement. It's got to obey all these fucking laws. Like, I get it, and that sucks. And that honestly, like anyone who builds software systems for the government, like I'm fucking sorry, that sounds like absolute dog shit. like work. I'm sure it pays well, but holy goddamn. But there's no way that there's not a system that is computerized. I'm sure there is some level of paperwork that's being done, like hard copy written paperwork, but not to that level. There's no way.
I also like for one thing too, like this all has to do with older generation and file retention. So this is a temporary issue for the next maybe at most 20 years, I'd say. After that, all those files and everything that they have right now, after 10, 15 years, file retention at the most is 15 years, like nationally. So all of this is, like I said, a temporary issue. It's going to be over. So whether or not it's inefficient or whatever, those are just files that just need to be held. Like they can stop this process of retirement. They can find a different way to do it, but those files do need to be stored. But it's not like what he said about that limestone shaft or whatever is not for the entire country, because companies do have their own separate areas where they keep everybody's file and for retirement for everything in its own area. I mean, I know Iron Mountain manages it or whatever it is because that's like a national brand or whatever that does it. I think he said right now Iron Mountain or whatever it is. Like they do ours too, but it's not this one giant fucking area, right? In DC or whatever it is. So I don't know what the fuck he's I don't know. I feel like he oversimplified it, and I think he's taking advantage of a lot of people that don't know what it all means, I guess.
He thinks we're idiots, man.
But like for somebody that like he just found it out, didn't he? And he's just
Doesn't
like,
matter. He's convinced himself he's a super genius. Again, we're going back to the video game thing where he's convinced a game he's never actually played extensively, he can just show up and live stream and look like he's an expert.
That was funny, by the way, when everyone started catching him in those lies for a lot of the
Yeah.
bullshit. That was funny.
Yeah, it was funny, but again, he's convinced himself of the lie that he's been saying to everybody about himself, which is that he's a super genius and he just knows shit when he's wrong more often than not. But he thinks we're even dumber than he is.
yeah. And I would say too that he does a lot of, and this is what I put in the chat to you guys, like sandbagging and like almost mansplaining to the fact that he's just trying to make it like so bloated with information, similar to the entire administration. Like we're just going to punch you in the face with all this information and all these executive orders because it's going to be hard for people to dissect it and understand it. So like when he's explaining the process, he's just front loading you with information. Like that answer to like, are you policing yourself? He's explaining checks and deliveries and things like that. Like that's not what the question was. But if you bloat it with information at the end of it, you say, well, somebody's just got to say something. That's not just yes or no is what you got to say. So like with this retirement thing, it's like there's this giant process and we got to go down mine shafts. Now you're distracting people. Oh, there's a mine shaft. Well, now you're distracting people. It's a manual process. Like they're going to ask more questions than answer than you answered. So
Well, yeah. Well, and the thing is, I think he's exaggerating it too. Like, it's not because I think people get this image in their head of like a mine shaft in the sense of like a coal mine from the fucking 30s,
Yeah.
right? Or like a coal mine. Like, did you ever watch the show Chernobyl? There's like all those coal miners that they get to like go mine underneath the reactor in one of the episodes. Like, it's not like that. It's not a bunch of like butt naked dudes like in a fucking mine shaft like that. It appears to be in like a sort of mind-based thing because like you said it's that Iron Mountain whatever company that you'd said, but like it's not like it's not what he says it is, right? And look, again, here's the thing. If there's a way to automate that, I'm sure there's a way to automate it at some point, or there could be if people get their head out of their ass. There's probably, there's definitely a better way to do it. But he's not the guy to do that. Like I think because he also talked about, I think he said in that interview something about the FAA, or he said at least a couple of times, if not in that interview, in others, the FAA is run on a shitty old legacy system, and that's absolutely true. So if he said, if he wanted to upgrade the FAA system and found a way to do it, yeah, absolutely, fantastic, let's do it. The problem is, as we can see, his hiring policies seem to be pretty lax because you have some fucking 20-something-year-old kid that goes by the name of fucking Big Balls on the internet, like trying to comb through your fucking code, and he doesn't fucking understand shit. Like you can't. I don't care if you went to fucking Stanford, and graduated top of your class. You don't get to just start digging into like legacy government software systems with no oversight. Like for fuck's sake, and this is stuff that people have tried to change. Like we've tried to change the FAA before. It's an astronomically complex, life critical system. Like it's not going to be built overnight. And again, Elon isn't the guy to fucking be in charge of that because look what he's just Waluigiing around, like just locking doors and fucking shutting stuff down and go like, no Snap assistance for you. Y'all don't got to fucking eat. Like, come on, dude.
I feel like, yeah, 100%. And I also feel like he's running it like it's a company that he was a consultant, right? And he's brought in for a 30-day trial period, and he's like, okay, where are we going to trim the fat? How are we going to make this company shoot up in the stock and popularity in the next 30 days, like the U.S., right? So, but it's not that. This is not a company. It's a fucking country, and people put their lives. People's lives are on the fucking line here, and you can't just trim the fat. You can't shut off resources to people because that's not longevity. That's not sustainable. And the fact that you got 4 years to do whatever you got to do, but at the end of the day, the next 4 years are going to come, and then the next 4 years are going to come, and then what? You can see, and then he's also not from here. He doesn't even go here. So he can just fucking be like, all right, I fucked up. See you guys later. I still got my $1 billion I can go fuck off in, but everyone else's life is ruined. He has no stake in the game. Why are people taking it? Like, you know what I mean? There's no incentive for him to like actually give a damn. Same with Trump. There's no incentive. And that's why everybody who voted for him thinks that he does give a fuck about you. He doesn't, and he doesn't have to. And if he said he did, he fucking lied. And case in point, eggs are fucking $11 now at Walmart.
And everyone jumping to Elon's defense, like he literally thinks you guys are a parasite. Like he said as much. You're part of the parasite
You can
class.
find it on X.
If you've ever had any financial aid or federal aid from the government, this being the most hypocritical thing he could fucking say too, because his companies rely on a lot of government programs to even exist or to have gotten off the ground in the way that they did. You know, the EV tax credit, the fucking carbon credits, the contracts through SpaceX with joint ventures with NASA, things like that. All of this shit was him getting a helping hand, and then he turns around and burns that fucking bridge after he crosses it and be like, "No, you guys are parasites if you try and follow the same fucking path on a breadcrumb level." He got the whole fucking loaf. You get one breadcrumb, and he thinks you're a parasite.
And do we have to go back to 1987 or whatever it was when Trump said that he would run as Republican because they're the most uneducated people? That's a real fucking quote. And it's true. That's what he ran as. He's telling you what he's doing. He's holding it up to your dumb fucking face. And you're like, well, he doesn't mean it. It's not true. He's not going to take women's rights away. Which, by the way, I don't know if it's true or not, and I can't confirm it. So if somebody wants to. Trump just, I think, or what I read, took the right away from women to vote based on if they legally took their husband's last name. Is that something that?
So yeah, it's slightly more nuanced. I know what you're talking about. I think it's I can't remember the full name of the act. I think it's like the SAVE Act or something. It's supposed to be saving voting. What they want to do is you'll require a birth certificate or a passport as proof of citizenship to vote. Which right now, like at least in Minnesota, you basically need like to register to vote, you need like a utility bill, right? Not a big deal. The problem is, so that's going to disenfranchise a ton of women because, like, for example, my wife, who took my last name when we got married, does not have a birth certificate with my last name on it because we aren't related. So people in Alabama might be fine. Kentucky, you guys are going to be fine down there. Most of you or whatever. But in the places where we don't have it allowed to fuck your sister and make little cross-eyed, touch-eyed fuckheads, you're screwed. So that's kind of what's going on is there's potentially almost 70 million women in this country that will not be able to vote because they don't have documentation that matches their current name because it still has their maiden name on it. And that could go for men too. I mean, here's the thing that is overlooked is, for example, my cousin hyphenated his last name with his wife when he got married. And I know that there was some. I mean, there's been a few dudes that have taken their wife's last name, things like that. Like that does happen as well. Or I mean, same sex couples, whatever. There's a ton of different things. But yeah. So there and this is Republican playbook. Like this is fucking A1 shit from them, man, is trying to find these sneaky little ways to make it harder to vote in this country. Like, this should be one of the biggest rights that we should fight to have. And they just keep finding little ways like this to kind of sneak it away from you,
But so to that, so what we talked about in the last podcast, similar to like the systematic, cut the education. Let's have the this is going to sound a little stereotypical, but like cut the education and like have the less educated people keep voting the same way for years and years to come to keep the same kind of thoughts in office. With that being said, like you said, the people in Alabama and things like that are going to keep, are going to be fine probably. Doesn't that kind of go in that same direction as far as like, you know what I mean? Like voting the same way, like they're going to get more votes in that direction.
Well, yeah, they're trying to push back towards a thing. Well, I mean, we saw kind of an example that speaks this is like we saw during the election. I think it was like Matt Walsh said something, or no, I don't know. It was some right wing like talking head fucking moron that said something along the lines of like, look, if I found out that my wife voted for Kamala Harris, like I would be fucking furious, blah blah blah. Like that's grounds for divorce, that type of shit, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, they want dudes to hold the power, and I don't know the balance of right versus left, Democrat, Republican among like men and women. I would gamble that women lean left. it seems to kind of be that way. Women lean left, people of color, I think, tend to. I don't know if that's changing. Um, but I mean, they're trying to consolidate power in male hands again. They say shit about it all the time, essentially. I've seen far right people go on podcasts. Uh, there's one on Luke Beasley's podcast. He's a pretty young dude, but he's smart. That just flatly said that women shouldn't vote. Even a dude I used to watch on YouTube, fucking years and years ago for fitness advice, suddenly started saying that women shouldn't be able to vote. So this is a right wing idea. The whole trad wife thing that we see, that trend, that's a right wing ideology where women, they stay home, they take care of the kids. Dudes come home, they fucking, you pump a load in your wife, you eat the food that she made for you, you go to bed, and you get up and you go to work and you be a big tough guy in your air conditioned office. By the way, you fucking moron. You're not tough, you sell used cars. And that's the thing they want. Like, that's when they talk about making America great again. Everyone always says this. They want to go back to like the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. They want to talk about women can't vote, people of color can't vote, like men run the fuck, which, by the way, men run the fucking place.
Right.
I say this as a white dude. We run the fucking place, and I'm well
Yeah.
aware of that. I had a buddy who I talked to at the gym who tried swinging some, I didn't get promoted because of DEI shit. I was talking to you guys before the podcast. Dude, DEI has never been a problem for me. I'm white. Like, I could have walked up to just about any fucking office and just say, I work here now. Like, I don't have to earn shit, man. I have not earned half the shit that I have. I'm just a fucking white dude that looks like he should have been there on January 6th, for fuck's sake. Like, it just is what it is. But yeah, no, it's disenfranchising voters, man. I mean, they're gonna come after voters of color at some point. I mean, they already do. A lot of these voter ID laws like that come after marginalized groups, minority groups, um, things like that.
I wish we could tap into, like a lady who's directly affected by that right now, and just kind of just be like, what are you like? What's going on, like, in your head right now? And first of all, did you vote for him? And secondly, why? And also, it just like, how are you feeling? Because you're being targeted right now, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to, I just want to know. But yeah, so just going back to that, Trump's first man in office there, Elon, was so he's talking and whatnot, and he says, so this quote, people of 150 years old are receiving Social Security checks, right? And Zach, you were talking before the show, like there's a reason why that 150 year mark is showing up. And there's a specific reason, and maybe you can divulge that to the people that might not be aware or hyper aware. But I don't know, is language is called COBOL.
Yeah, resident software rendered. So yeah, the language COBOL was made forever ago. It's a pretty early on programming language. It's still used in a lot of legacy government systems because it's weird, by the way, talking about stuff that we talked about like before the podcast, again on the podcast. I just want to point it's some weird, like, I get like some weird glitch in the Matrix vibes. I don't know if you guys ever get that, but I get like a weird glitch in the Matrix vibe. Like, I already said all this. But I'm going to say it again for the people, goddammit. So when these legacy systems were booted up way back using this COBOL language, the standard date that they were using in the COBOL language, which doesn't have a good way of doing date times. A lot of languages, there's just date times are kind of built in a way that's very convenient. But you'll also notice that, like, I think like your like Microsoft, Office suite stuff, your Excel, your Word, a lot of them date time back to like January 1st of 1900 is like what it standardizes to. And this is actually kind of a good example now that I think about it. So, like in Microsoft Excel, I forget exactly how to do it, and nobody's going to care because it'd be way too nerdy. But essentially, what it does when you're putting in dates is it counts forward from January 1st of 1900, right? So when you start putting in a date into Excel, it is counting forward in certain units from that. Um, I don't remember if it counts in it like counts in minutes or seconds or whatever the hell it is. So if you add an integer to a date in Excel, you can try this. I think this is how it works. If you go say, January 1st, 1900 plus an integer value, it'll give you another date because it's just counting integers. So COBOL's it does this weird shit with a lot of the same thing, but the default date or default year is 1875. So if you do a little bit of math, 1875, 2025 starts talking about 150 years. So that's what he's saying is no, these people are not getting checks. There are people in there, and there may be people still in the database, maybe showing up as that. I think the issue is that there's not always a date or a birth date attached to these people, right? So the standard date is specifically May 20th of 1875. So my guess is if this dipshit, and if all these, he's got a group of like these 5 college grad dipshits helping him out. And if they could read code or read a database or read a book, they'd probably see that there's like millions of Americans are born on May 20th of 1875. So like everyone was like fucking porking their wives back in fucking like September of 1874. Everyone's just fucking laying pipe apparently.
Talk about baby boomer.
God damn, you aren't kidding. So yeah, it's just an issue where there isn't a birth date attached to them. It defaults to that date, and he goes, "Whoa, these people getting checks." Well, probably because they aren't actually 150 years old. You're just a fucking idiot and don't understand how this system works because you didn't actually look at it and didn't actually read it because you're not actually looking for fraud. So,
right.
So yeah,
And
that's where your
to that point,
150-year-old people are.
I just want to say something quick too. If he was looking for fraud, and this has been made, this point has been made quite a bit online. He'd hire accountants, forensic accountants. He wouldn't hire hackers to hack in and just change shit and behind closed doors. Right? This would be out in the open. This would be public. Hey, this is what we found. They wouldn't be signing. He wouldn't be getting special presidential privileges, blocking us from seeing what he's doing until 2032 or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh.
So
that's all I got, bro.
So do you think? So Social Security started in. I don't know if I'm gonna. Never mind. Just stop. I think I'm getting ahead of my skis here, so I'm just gonna stop.
No. So here's the thing. I'm looking more in real time here as we're kind of going, as I like to do. I like to make sure that we're fact checked. By the way, I just want to say if we say some, I know like 4 people listen to us, and if any of you 4 people catch us saying some shit that's inaccurate, like legitimately let us know. Because there's a lot flying around right now, and I just want to be super careful because honestly, there are times when like there's so much fucking information. I know that we can get turned around on something or say something that's not quite perfect. So
Yeah.
just saying. So what it is, it's an ISO standard. The COBOL language they're using an ISO. It's ISO 8601. The standard is. So if it doesn't know the date, like I said, it defaults to May 20th of 1875. So that's a specific standard that you can look up. And there is an entire goddamn subreddit on it, I'm finding out, which is kind of funny, actually, that there's like a whole fucking thing. It probably is new, I assume, newer. Maybe not. Maybe there's some people that are this fucking nerdy about ISO standards, but yeah, that's the exact standard you can look up. So you can read up on that for yourself, I guess, to prove that. But yeah, no, Elon is dumb. I don't know how he ever coded something like PayPal. Like I know we've talked about how PayPal was kind of dog shit when he handed it over, had like super lax like security for data transfer, all this bullshit, and it was just garbage. I don't know, because like I don't think I'm dumb, and I think I might have trouble putting that together. But this guy has no fucking idea what he's doing. He's still managed to put that together and sell it. And I just like either I'm doubting myself or he's smarter than we give him. Like, but he's so stupid. I can't grasp it.
So 2 things to that point. He's probably good enough to get it structurally sound and then be like, okay, bye, and sell it for a lot.
Like proof of
kind of like what he's trying to do.
Works.
Exactly. Trying to like what he's trying to do to the US right now, right? He's trying to be like, okay, I'm going to do enough to be like, take. So we have, at my place of work, we have engineers that come here for 2-year stints. And they do things that are good enough to be like, this is a great idea if you can follow through on the beginning, middle, and end of it. But they're only there for the beginning of it. And then they're like, see you later. I'm out. And they don't see the middle where it gets muddy and gross and it doesn't actually work. And then another engineer has to come in and fix it. And or operators have to try to fix or work with it still, like Rick. So and fix it.
Shout out Rick.
So that is kind of a bullshit. It's a phantom idea because it's not actually like it's not a genuine idea. It's not a genuine idea because they don't really care if it works or not. They're trying to get a promotion. They're trying to just get credit for it in the moment, and then people forget about it. And they're like, wait a minute, why doesn't this work? Whose idea was this? And they're like, oh, it gets money. So similar to that, PayPal, he didn't care if it worked after he sold it. He doesn't give a fuck, right? It doesn't matter. So there's that. Secondly, I talked too much. I forgot what I was going to say. Secondly, so firstly, you got that one. Run with
Firstly, and also firstly. It's early, folks. It's early. Leave us alone. Also, so one thing, this is a semantics thing, but they keep calling everyone, uh, the people that Elon hired, they keep calling them coders. I don't know where that came from because we used to be called programmers.
Oh.
And that's a weird thing to me. I don't know why that is.
I remembered.
Buckle up. He's back. Puke and rally.
Intermission's done.
So
Yeah.
when you said ISO, that just like totally. Why are we thinking of this in like a? I don't know. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. And I know that there's been failed audits in the government and things like that. But like we didn't necessarily need someone like Elon Musk to point out that there's going to be failures in things like this, right? There's going to be things that aren't up to snuff. But some like if small companies, like small tax companies that are run out of a fucking garage are audited to make sure that they're fucking up to snuff as far as regulations and codes and things like that. So you're telling me that the government who handles everything, like between retirements and Social Security and all of this other shit, you're telling me that we needed Elon Musk, some guy from fucking South Africa who has ties to apartheid, and things like that, needed to come in here and tell us that we're wasting money. Instead, we're just having there's audits though that tell us this already, and there's probably things that have been in place to like mitigate that. That's not just cut funding right now. We need to fix it right now. There's been processes in place. So like what you guys said, we don't just turn it off overnight and try to implement something and make sure grandma gets her check in time. That's what they're trying to do, right? Or like something similar to that effect. In a way, we've been building up these structures that will take years to be like, okay, we need a cut here, a little bit there, kind of like mold it back to something manageable. That's what probably I'm going to put trust in it and have faith that our government knew what they were doing, and that's what they're getting paid for. But right now, it's like, nope, full stop. This is what we're doing now because we're rich and we know what we're doing, and we have these hackers that we brought in. It's bullshit. Right. It's just bullshit.
They should be taking a scalpel to it, and like they're taking a fucking hatchet or a goddamn
fucking chainsaw.
Yeah,
it's one of those chainsaws on a helicopter that they use to trim trees. It's like one of those where it's just swinging. It's just one of those.
Yeah,
and also like what is Elon Musk actually doing? Like he hired a bunch of these, some straight out of fucking high school, right? And he just sits over them and fucking he's not doing anything. It's just this proves my fucking point in other podcasts where the fucking owner doesn't do shit. The guy who hires the people doesn't do a goddamn thing. He just sits there and is like, I'm here now. I'm in here now. But he didn't do anything. He's not going in himself personally and looking at these systems because he doesn't understand them. He has no fucking idea. And so he hires this team and it's like, okay, why are you here then? What the fuck are you doing here? You don't know shit.
Well, also like just as far as like bringing these young guys in here, it on the outside, an infusion of youth isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? But you need some historical oversight. You need somebody there to kind of mitigate like the question as why, because Elon Musk doesn't understand the why sometimes. And I'm sure he just doesn't in this scenario at all. You need somebody, and that's why managers are a thing. That's why managers typically are older in companies because they understand, oh, we did this back because of this. Like when people are asking, why are we doing it this way? And there's no good reason to do it anymore. A manager can't answer that question. Then it's garbage. But we got these 25 and under people in there, and they don't have any stake in the game because they don't understand the impact as far as like retirements and like, well, we can just cut this, we can just do that. We don't need this anymore. It's bloated. It's garbage. Because they just don't understand at that age. I'm assuming, the impacts over time what it might have on people retiring or whatever they're doing. I really, really don't know what exactly the hackers or whatever the fuck they're doing are actually doing.
I don't
So
know if half of it is them even doing anything on a computer. Half of it, they're just doing Elon's bit. Like, I think they're probably the ones that lock the doors at the Treasury Department, right? Like,
Right.
I don't think half of it's going through a fucking computer. They're trying to learn how the federal government works on their own in real time.
exactly.
Like,
They're just sent in there with flashlights and no manual, and they're trying to relearn. Like they don't understand the language that you just said. So historical context would be amazing right now. Just have somebody there. Oh, we did this because of that. Oh, that explains a 150-year-old person. Done. Next. Okay, now we can move on. Like the efficiency level is none, and they're supposed to be the
Right.
government efficiency department. What are we
Yeah.
doing here?
And so I've heard reports, and I'd have to verify this too, but I've heard reports that they were running drills on doing this as quickly as possible because they know it's illegal, and they know eventually the courts will step in and stop them, or put roadblocks up. The last guardrail we fucking have, other than just grassroots activism and civil disobedience and shit like that. But so they know it's illegal. They know they're going to be slowed down or impeded eventually, and so they were running fucking practice runs of how to get in and plug in and try. So they're trying to get information, knowing that they're going to be stopped, and so I think that should be alarming as well, because you shouldn't need to have access to this information to see. Like, you shouldn't need access after the initial access, I should say, to see if there's fraud and abuse and corruption and overspending or whatever, inefficiencies. You shouldn't need to keep looking at it and have your own personal fucking copy of all that information, like what they did, plugging in and downloading it and taking it. Who the fuck knows what they're doing with it? To point out the inefficiencies.
And that's just such a hypocritical point of view of everybody on the right when they are just like, yeah, it just makes sense to us now because our guys are doing it. What about when Hillary did it with emails? What about when
Hillary didn't do it?
her
You know,
email,
that's the
but the
thing.
email scandal, just the
Right.
fact that she might have done it, lost her the fucking election.
that's what I'm
It
saying.
lost her an entire fucking election. And now you
Yep.
have this dip fuck. Look, here's the fucking thing I need to say. If you think you want to do something at your job, but in order to do it, you have to plan some fucking Ocean's 11 fucking Italian job, fucking bullshit ass goddamn heist to do it. It's illegal or it's immoral and wrong. It like
Right.
look, if you go up to your boss and say, like I dare any of you to just go up to your boss, say, I need access to all of our payroll records. And they say, why? Say, I'm a fucking lunatic and I want to find inefficiencies in this workplace. They will say, you're a fucking dipshit. Go sit the fuck back down and make your fucking fidget spinners or whatever the fuck it is. You're like, bro, go flip the burgers. That man needs his fries. Go put the fries in the fucking bag, bro. Like, it boggles my fucking mind. So it's a clearly amoral thing. The idea that they had to sit there and fucking cartoonishly unroll a fucking like I just imagine him, Elon, and these dipshits unrolling, blueprints of the fucking Treasury Department, planning out like, all right, you fucking and then you'll lock the door and fucking you'll crack the safe and
Yeah.
like that means it's fucking illegal. Like, so why in the fuck are you? I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's fucking. I'm so confused by it.
I want to say one more thing. It's more of just a quip at Elon, but if you want to do a Department of Government Efficiency and you hire the guy that stutters and it takes him 3 hours to say something that takes a normal person 20 minutes to say, you already fucked up. Okay, that's it.
You already blew it. Well, and dude, here's the thing: is Donald Trump also doesn't know what's going. I mean, we forever ago we were talking about, but the dude doesn't know where he is. Like, he can't be in control of this shit either. He walked up. He was supposed to swear Tulsi Gabbard into her fucking position, whatever it is. I forget. He fucking did a little speech, forgot where he was, and just left. He just walked out of the room while everyone stared. You can pull up the video at some point. You can go find. He just walks out, and everyone just goes, "Okay, uh, what now?" Like, we're not doing this. There was a whole swearing in. There's a whole process where we got to do the thing, but he just fucking forgets where he's. Fucking I don't know, space rockets, something magnets. They don't make the airplanes fly, and then he walks out. Fucking Jesus, fucking Christ, guys.
Billions and billions doesn't work. Tractor magnets, lightning fire.
Yeah, the lightning hurricanes. Have you ever built a ship before, dude? What the fuck are you talking about?
These are just like
God
words
damn
he hasn't said yet in his life, and right before he dies, he's just going spam, 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 and then he's just like, "All right,
taking him for a
done."
spin. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
taking him for a spin. He's just like, I haven't said hurricane. Just fucking
Have you tried this new picture?
magnets.
Magnets are, what do? They stick to each other? Interesting.
Don't work.
I like magnets. Baron
No one's
liked
ever heard of magnets before. No one's ever heard of magnets. Jesus fucking no, you haven't heard of magnets, you fucking inbred.
Dude thinks he's reading a fucking pick your own adventure book, but there's just a fucking dictionary.
He just keeps it's like when you do the pick your own adventure books, but he's doing it wrong and he's just flipping to the next page because he doesn't understand you're supposed to jump around. So he's like talking about airplanes and he's talking about ships because he's supposed to skip to the part where you're on the airplane still, but he just flipped to the next page. And that's where you would have been on the ship, you would have stayed on the pirate ship instead you fucking in an airplane. Here's the everything that Republicans say about the left is like an admission of their own fucking stupidity. Like, oh, Kamala, word salad, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck was this about magnets and tractors and fucking lightning and hurricane? Are you fucking for serious right now? Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Well, Zach, he's a genius actually because he explained it already. He does a word weave and then he pulls everything into this conversation and then it makes sense to him, but everyone else in the world and who is listening is fucking confused. So if it makes sense to him, the narcissist says it's okay. And
it's the Charlie
to that
Day
point,
IRL, dude.
If he fucking
the mail.
If he fucking leaves that meeting, and I just always think now roles were reversed. This is how I run my life, by the way. So I'm a real kind of a shitty boyfriend sometimes, but roles were reversed. And Biden leaves that meeting. He's lit up on Fox News. He's lit up everywhere, even by his own constituents. But Trump leaves a meeting, and he was told, "Sir, you just left that meeting, and you needed to stay." He'd be like,
"I know. I decided to leave early, and everyone's got to be okay with it."
But
I have to poop.
Yeah, it was boring. It was. It just didn't do it for me.
And then everyone else in that meeting was like, and that makes sense why he left because he's got things to do today, and this is just not what he's got to do. You know what I mean? So like they just cover up his ass, like his diaper, and they're fucking all right with it. So
his fucking fillet of fish was getting cold.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all he could think about. He's like, I want to go eat.
Yeah. So hungry. I'm starving.
Dude, did you hear about, speaking of the Tulsi Gabbard thing though, like Russians they were giddy about her confirmation.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about her. But I've heard that Russia likes her. If you know anything why, please educate me because I'm curious.
What is she again? What does she get sworn in as for people listening?
DNI secretary.
What is that?
Letter secretary.
I was gonna say acronyms aren't my friend. They tie my brain into stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I
DNI
track.
Department of Insinuation.
Department of Sexual Healing. I would have. That's what I would stick in there. Yeah, I can't keep track. I can't keep track of all these nominations because I kept paying attention to like RFK.
Director of National Intelligence.
I fucking knew it was something big.
That's it's important. God damn it!
Wasn't like Department of fucking Farm Animals or something.
Tulsi, you can count all the cows in their spots. Just suck on the mushroom.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's fucking tough. Oh, that's hard to hear. That's hard to listen to.
Direct quote, dude. I read his biography. All right.
Oh my god, why?
I'm just kidding.
Why would you put yourself through that? No, yeah, I have heard that Russia likes her. a lot. I was disappointed, by the way. I was disappointed that Mr. Jocko Willink, who everyone, he's a big tough guy. He was a huge supporter of her getting confirmed and of Pete Hegseth getting confirmed. It's really disappointing. Like, I'm disappointed in that dude because, like, while there's a lot of shit he says that obviously is like pretty fucking smooth brain, and he's a little macho for a lot of tastes. I get it. I get why people on the left don't like it, but like, I read both of his books, can take a lot from him. I get it. Whatever. But I'm just disappointed that dude, like, if you are in the military at all, whether you're a good person or not, he will just fucking crank it to you. And I get, like, his podcast, he has like legitimate war heroes on his podcast, but then says like dumb fucking alcoholic Pete Hegseth, who like was in Iraq for a little bit and then got a bunch of like fucking white supremacy tattoos on him and then fucking drinks in a goddamn press conference, should be confirmed to be in charge of like, look at Pete Hegseth's like resume, his military resume, and then look at the people that have been in his position in the past. Like, you're talking about like top of their class at fucking West Point and like served for like 30 fucking years, and they're like fucking 5-star generals. Some of these, like, these are the baddest of the bad motherfuckers, and you just get some fucking alcoholic dipshit off the fucking road and go like, you seem to be a racist. Let's put you in charge. You were on Fox and Friends, and I like watching your morning fucking weekend thing while I shit my entire fucking brains out and wipe my ass with the fucking confidential documents I stole.
Yeah, dude, the alcohol is now for his debilitating imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Treatment. Yeah, it's medical.
He's not going to stop now.
It's like medical marijuana. It's, no, I need this. I can stop whenever I want. I need this.
Have you seen The Last Guys? I shouldn't be here.
This is fucking terrifying. That guy's got a Purple Heart. He got fucking shot twice, and then he saved people's lives. I can't compete with that. I just went on base and was racist.
I've never been a general, but I played one on TV. He
fucking a retard.
Is he is he the same? Is he in the same position that Colin Powell was?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Remember when that position was like powerful and respected?
Oh, it's powerful. It's still powerful. It's just not respected.
Yeah.
There you go. I remember when I was a wee little lad, so like last week, and just reminiscing about like when I was in like second grade, it just always seen the president's picture somewhere, and it was Bush when I was in second grade, and just thinking Colin Powell, whoever that lady was, and like just
Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And just thinking we have like a strong country. I just like looking at those pictures, like that's it. And then like Obama, same thing. And then all of a sudden it went off the fucking rails. And now we got a bloated McDonald man fucking in charge with his goddamn hair running away. And I know it's caricature. And even with Biden, I didn't feel as strong, but like, I don't know. It just like America is the Elvis of itself right now. It's in 1977. I think I said this way back in the day. It ate too much. It's not fitting in its jumpsuit anymore. It's the same song.
2 years.
And can't move its hips.
Yeah, he's just singing Hound Dog and sweating all over everybody. So
no, it's the worst version. Like, this is the worst version of America I've ever fucking seen, because it's the most incompetent. You can argue that, like, yeah, we went through the Great Depression and that shit sucked and that was a bad version. We went through, the Vietnam War, like that era, that was a pretty shit version of America. The one where we killed all the Native Americans, not very lit either. Slavery, also a not very lit era. But this is the dumbest set of fascists. Like, this is the dumbest fascist takeover. I said it before. Do they have to be so fucking lame? They're all just boring, like, white motherfuckers. They're either boring white motherfuckers, or it's like Kash Patel, who for some reason just like fucking cranks it to images of Trump. Like, he just goes home and like lays on his fucking bed and just fucking torques his fucking knob. It's
Orange is his favorite color.
Dude, seriously, I don't fucking understand. They don't look cool. They don't act cool. You have some fucking stuttering and shit in the Oval Office. Like, dude, if we're gonna do this shit, if we're gonna go down like this, give me a fucking evil villain motherfucker to do it at least. Like someone
right.
with a goddamn half a goddamn brain. Like I'm just so sick of everyone being so goddamn stupid and strutting around like a fucking pigeon that just kicked all the fucking chess pieces off the board. Like, fuck, dude.
I win.
Yeah, I win. It's like, bro, like I was over here trying to play chess. Like I said in the one podcast, he's playing fucking Go Fish with Uno cards. Like, I just fucking don't understand what's going on here, and I don't
And he's
understand how so
doing
many people are bought into it.
He Trump's hair is Hitler's stash. That's what this is going to go down as.
Dude, the symbolism, yeah, it's going to be the hair. I think the tie. Honorable mention for the tie.
Yeah, that's going to be his
For
red
some reason-
band.
No,
touche.
that's the hats.
The hat. Yeah, the hat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's going to be honestly like it's almost become for me the same thing. There was a time. So I do wear hats. I'm a bald man, and I need to protect my skull. So I wear hats a lot. And there was one time I ordered a hat that was red. It was like from whatever another podcast I like that starts with the letter M, of course, because I'm an idiot. And I ordered this hat. I'm like, yeah, I like it. I don't want to wear black hat. My last hat, my last couple they've been black or blue or whatever. I want a red one. And I just order it and I get it in a box. I literally opened the fucking box and I went, "Fuck, man!"
I can't
I'm like,
wear
and
this.
well, and I wound up wearing it for like 2 years, until it got super shitty and gross and whatever from wearing it all the time. But I'm like, I'm gonna get punched in the fucking face. Like I'm gonna get punched in the fucking face. And I don't know if I ever got dirty looks or not, but yeah, you can't wear a red hat. It's the same thing. You can't do like the salute. You can't do your hand motion in a certain this certain probably between like 45 and whatever degrees. You can't do that anymore to like hail a cab or anything because of a certain guy with a certain mustache,
'Cause
which
you'll
is also
hail a
pretty
Hitler.
iconic. Yeah, exactly. So it's that's going to be the symbolism, the shitty hair, the fucking hats for his followers.
That's America.
I'm loving the moments though that are coming in more and more where they're finding out, you know what I mean? The find out stage where everyone's going, "Oh, I didn't think they'd cut funding to my school. I didn't
Yeah,
think they would
right.
increase my cost of living." I don't think, and I don't know. I don't have any kindness for these people. I'm going to be honest. Like,
I
just
do
don't.
feel like this is required for the class consciousness to awaken a little bit. Like, hey,
Yeah.
wait, I'm one of the parasites? Oh,
Damn.
yeah, man.
I'm one of the uneducated. He doesn't care about me. He just wanted my vote, which is a quote. Wait a minute. He was telling the truth. Oh, and inflation is a complex thing now. It's not just Biden fucking with us.
Yeah. I don't know if you
Oh.
guys have noticed, gas prices haven't gone down at all.
They've gone
along
up.
with eggs.
They've
Right.
gone up. It used to be in the $2 around me, and now it's at $3 minimum.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Drill,
just
baby,
over
drill.
And we're gonna drill, baby, drill.
I want to end on this because we got to wrap up here. But I want to end on this. Have you guys seen Pete Davidson talk about when Trump was on SNL? This is kind of a lighthearted end. And how he said
I
that
actually don't think I did see that.
he said that he couldn't read, like he didn't know how sentences worked. So like one of the sketches was like they're at Disney World, just the one. They're at Disney World, and they're at Disney World, and the cue card said, well, let's get out of here. Turkey legs, right? So like, comma, do you guys want turkey legs? Question mark. Trump can't read, so he read it like,
All right, let's get out of here, turkey legs.
I'm going to use that though for real. If I want to get out of somewhere, if I want to leave a party, that's what I'm telling people. Let's get out of here, turkey legs.
oh God. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by,
That's all-
everybody.
Once I'll remember too when he misdirected. He told Macaulay Culkin the wrong way to the bathroom in Home Alone 2. Misled a child.
What a bastard.
If that wasn't foreshadowing for what was going to happen in the world in his presidency, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Really. Should have known. All right.
All there.
All right. Elon's fucking weird and go
So
away.
is this kid X EIEIO the 12th.
Aaron von EIEIO the 4th. I tell you what, though, hey, we got to shout it out. There's 4 of you listening. Like, subscribe. If you got friends that want to listen to us rant about stupid shit and, be white into a microphone, tell them. Honestly, because here's the thing. I'm seeing way too much right-wing shit on my feeds of everything. It's all broken now. So help the left be lefty. Help us be lefty at your faces. Share it.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I need a nap. It's 11 a.m. I need a fucking nap. This one was exhausting.
That is fucking weird. I'm getting a lot of right stuff too. So yeah, tell your friends and let's make my feed left again. All right. We'll see you guys later.
All right.